Hey there, it's April from LearnDoBecome.com, and I've been planning my holidays the same way for over 10 years. It's simple, it's fun, it's created so many meaningful experiences, and I just want to tell you all about it. I've spoken about David Allen's natural planning model in previous videos, and today we're applying it to the holidays. Essentially, it's things like looking at the purpose and principles, outcome visioning, brainstorming, organizing, and identifying next actions. So we're going to show you how we go from big picture to small picture and how it can just feel really light and easy, and you can create holidays that you actually look forward to, and you're not just trying to get through the holidays. Okay, no more getting through the holidays. We're going to enjoy the process. We also have a full detailed holiday planning guide with videos, audios, printables, all you'll need for free on our website, so I will link that in the description. The first thing we want to look at are the purpose and the principles and that outcome vision. Why are we doing this and what do we want? This is really important for me personally with the holidays because I don't want the focus to be on stuff and just a bunch of sugar. I want the focus to be on my personal meaning of the holidays and celebrating and having it be something that's really spiritual and uplifting and meaningful for me and my family. So first, being able to actually write that down and then think about the why. There is a lot of fun. I love sharing my love with neighbors and friends, and I love going to events, and I love being thoughtful, but I don't want to be flustered, exhausted, overwhelmed, in debt, feeling like I'm totally depleted by the end of the holidays. And I used to feel more that way, and this has changed everything. So taking some time to just write out your why is really, really important. And if you can do this along with a spouse or your family or those who are going to be celebrating with you, that's even better. As you're thinking about the why, we combine this step with outcome visioning, asking the question, if the holiday season were wildly successful, what would it look like? What would be true by the end of the season? And so if you actually answer that question and you feel like you're creating the future you want, and now you're going to architect your holidays to become that, it's going to make a big difference from the start. The brainstorming process is probably the most fun. You're not going to stop there because it might feel a little overwhelming initially, but all you really need to do is just get out a sheet of paper or a poster or something, and then you're going to write down the main categories that you need to plan. So I'll just share some categories that worked for our family, and then we can just move forward from there. So it's things like service, home activities, a card you may want to send, outside activities, gifts for your immediate family, gifts for extended family, or maybe friends, neighbors, decor, food, travel. And your categories might change depending on your neighborhood, your extended network, maybe your job, where you're living, your income level. So it might, adjust throughout your life, but the point is that you want to just have categories that when you look at it, you say, okay, this is what I'm planning, and this gives some kind of a border so the holidays don't explode. Once you've completed your whole brainstorm and you feel really good about it, this next step is going to help your mind to feel so much calmer, because that brainstorm might feel really overwhelming because you're seeing all of these projects and sub-projects and events and activities all at once, and you might feel like, oh, this is just way, way too much. So yes, you might want to pare some of that down. But the next part is you just look at the calendar and look what you have ahead of you. And you might say, like if you're hopefully doing this planning earlier than later, you could say, okay, in the next week, here are the projects or sub-projects I can work on. Then after those are done, now we're going to go to this next set. So for me personally, I usually do something like early November or right before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving or early December. Sometimes I even move some things and do them early in October. It just depends on my specific season. But what I've noticed is that when you can take the brainstorm and make projects and sub-projects and put them on little sticky notes and just move them around, now you can see, oh yeah, I don't even have to think about these 5 things until this date. Or, oh, I could do all of my shopping way in advance, and so I can get that done before we even get into November, and I'm done with that. And then I can focus more on being present at maybe some of the events where we're traveling. And so the point is that when you know how to just take a big brainstorm and make it into very tangible projects and sub-projects, now that gives your brain a lift. And I've heard from multiple people over the years who just say, oh my goodness, this kept me from going over the edge, because I even created a list of things to do after the holidays. So as new ideas were coming in, they've got an after the holiday list, and I'll think about those things then. The secret to having a calm mind is not to put thousands of things into your brain all at the same time that all need to be processed. So while we're going through the purpose and the outcome and the brainstorming and now this organizing, you're telling your brain at every step, you can do these small things and they're going to impact the big picture. And then finally, once you've done all of that planning and thinking, we're going to be talking about our current projects and our next actions. We have a lot of videos on the channel explaining how current projects and next actions work. We also have a free training for our class, How to Finally Stop Drowning in Piles, so I will link that in the description. So there's lots of support on that if you don't quite get it, but I want to give you a basic overview if you're new here or you just want to get started. We want to have a current projects list for every month, 1 project to 8 projects that we're focusing on for the month. So when you're in the holidays, this is where you want to have those incorporated into your projects. What most people do is they just throw the holidays on top of what they're already doing, and then that's why they feel overwhelmed. That's how I was, and I'm sure you've probably felt that as well. So if you have on your current projects list some things that you're doing personally for your family and then for professional or volunteer work, you're going to incorporate some of those holiday projects, which might be, oh, we're going to plan a big event, or I'm going to get this card out, or something like that. So the projects list will help you recognize you can only do so much at a time, don't overwhelm yourself, and just keep it fairly simple. If you find you have 80 holiday projects, you probably either need to pare them down and just have a few, or get some help so that you're not doing all of it yourself. Along with current projects, we have a next actions list, which is just that simple list organized by context, where we are when we're getting those tasks done. So when you can have tasks organized by home, phone calls, computer, errands to discuss, you can bring in those little one-off tasks that need to be done. Again, keeping the list really, really small. What I find with most of the people who work with me here at Learn to Become, when they see my lists, they say, wow, your lists are really short. They're really small. And that's because if I could boil down one of the main lessons I've learned over decades of productivity experience, small lists get done. And when you have everything organized in a way where the most important things are on your lists and everything else is waiting, prepared for you when it's time to address them, you're going to feel just this wonderful lift. And that's what I want you to experience as you're organizing your holidays. I hope that these ideas have been helpful to you, and I hope that you're looking forward to the holidays, whether you're trying to do this just like the day before or the week before, or you've got, several weeks and months to prep. I just want you to feel that there's the possibility of creating joyful moments. And you can take any budget, any circumstance, anything that's going on in your life, and apply what we talked about today to that. Holidays don't have to be big and fancy and expensive and complicated and stressful. They can feel really purposeful and joyful and meaningful. For me, I want this to be a time of connection with the people I love, with God, and being able to prepare for the next year. So thanks for being with us. We have our full holiday planning guide at learndobecome.com/holiday, and we'll put the link in the description as well. We're so glad you're here with us at Learn, Do, Become.